Welcome to Science as we continue learning in our lesson today more about the Earth's crust and different forms that we'll find along the Earth. Let's review a little bit from our previous lessons as we look at the layers of the Earth together. Looking here at the screen, repeat them after me. Crust,
crust,
mantle,
mantle,
core.
core.
What is that hot liquid rock that we find in the mantle? Charlotte?
Magma.
And students watching, what is the top layer of the Earth's crust called? What is it, Timothy?
The crust.
No, just the top layer of the crust. So we have the topsoil, the subsoil, and then what's that top layer?
Bedrock.
Bedrock is correct. And then the innermost, hottest part of the Earth is called what, Alana?
The core.
Let's see how you do with labeling these without looking. Take a look at our chart that's on our board. What is this line here pointing to? Monroe?
The core.
It is the core. Can you tell me something about the core, Grayson?
It's very hot.
It is the hottest portion, correct. What is this line pointing to, Noah?
The crust.
Can you tell me something about the crust, Jake? What layer is it?
Bedrock.
It does have the bedrock, you're correct, that's the top layer, and it's the outermost layer of the Earth. What is this one pointing to, Lucia?
The mantle.
Royan, can you tell me something about the mantle?
It has magma.
It has magma inside of it. It's in the middle. Middle, mantle, magma. Take a look back at our screen as we repeat these one last time. Crust,
Crust.
mantle,
Mantle.
core.
Core.
Good, you're sitting on the edge of your seat, ready for some review questions just to see how much you've been paying attention. Let's get started. How much of the Earth is covered in water? Renoa?
70%.
70%. How much would that mean that the Earth is covered in land? Adrian? 30%. Good. What is the imaginary line around the Earth that is between the North and South Pole? Students watching. Clara?
The equator.
The equator. Now you may have a seat. We're going to play a game called 3 in a row. You're popping up out of your seat. If you get the answer correct, you hold your hand up showing that you have an answer correct. The first row to get 3 correct answers is the winning row. Students watching, you're joining in with row number 1 as they'll be keeping count for you. I'll let them know if you have the answer correct. You're on the edge of your seat. You're popping up. Once you have a correct answer, you are remaining seated, still thinking through the questions, but letting the others answer. Here's the first question. What do we call decayed living material in the soil? Isaiah? Mikkel?
Minerals.
Not minerals, that's dead things that have never been alive, or things that have never been alive. Ivy?
Humus.
Humus. So Ivy would remain seated with her hand up showing she has a correct answer. What is the top layer of the Earth's crust called? Amory?
Bedrock.
It is the bedrock. She has one for her row. A ditch that's formed by soil erosion. Students watching, I saw you. It is a gully. So for row number 1, Timothy, you hold your hand up for our students watching. What do we call the loss of soil by water or wind? Soil what? Alana?
Erosion.
Erosion. She is correct. What is the top layer of soil? Charlotte?
Bedrock.
Bedrock. Good. How many oceans are on our Earth? Brennan?
7.
Not 7. That's our continents. Grayson?
5.
5. And that gives row 3 2 correct answers. They just need one more. Where is the Earth the coldest? Mikkel?
At its poles.
At its poles. That's 2 for row number 5. Excuse me, row number 1. What is found between the core and the crust? It's in the middle. Royan?
The mantle.
The mantle is correct. It's getting closer and closer. Let's keep going. What is the hot liquid rock found in the Earth's mantle? Adrian?
Magma.
It is magma. What is the outermost layer of the Earth? Kendrick?
The crust.
The crust, correct. It looks like we have a tie across all rows. It comes down to the final question here. What instrument is using a magnetized needle? Right here.
A compass.
It is a compass. Row 3 has 3 in a row. Everybody silent cheers for row 3. Very nicely done. Let's do it again. So everybody is free to answer. You're paying close attention. Here's the next question. What is the innermost part of the Earth that's the hottest? Ashby.
Mantle.
Not the mantle. Tia, can you take it?
Core.
Core. She gets that one correct. How many continents are there on our Earth? Students watching. There are 7, so Bree, you're taking the point there, raising your hand. That's 2 for row number 1. Let's see what we can get going here. What is the decayed living material in the soil? William? Humus, good. It's very rich in nutrients, gives it a dark color. What do we call planting different kinds of crops from year to year? Farmers will do what? Royan? Rotate. Good. That's correct. Next question. What is the layer of soil beneath the topsoil? Jake? Lucia?
The subsoil.
The subsoil. Let's take a look at what our score is. We have 2 here, 1 here, 2 here. Let's continue playing. What do we call substances or materials in the earth that have never been alive? Amory?
Bedrock.
Not bedrock. Alana?
Minerals.
Minerals are correct. How many oceans are on the earth? Clara?
70.
Not 70 oceans. We're thinking of just the oceans. You're thinking of water, the percentage of water. Renoa? 5 oceans. Next question. What is the hot liquid rock found in the mantle? Isaiah?
Magma.
Good. That's 2 for row 2. What is a ditch that's formed by soil erosion? Noah?
Soil.
What are those ditches called formed by soil erosion? Kendrick? A gully is correct. Row number 2 gets 3 in a row. Here's one more question just to make sure that you're paying attention. What is the loss of soil by water and wind? Students watching? Timothy, what's it called?
A goalie.
That is the ditch that's formed because of this. Ashby?
Erosion.
Soil erosion. Nicely done. You may have a seat. Let's take a look at our words to watch for in this lesson, and we have a lot of them. Many, many important words to pay close attention to. You may have even learned about some of these terms in a geography class, maybe in a history class. You could see some of these as well as you're studying different maps. Repeat them after me. Plateau.
Plateau.
Valley.
Valley.
Canyon.
Canyon.
Riverbed.
Riverbed.
Island.
Island.
Source.
Source.
Looking at our next column. Mouth.
Mouth.
Delta.
Delta.
Silt.
Silt.
Water runoff.
Water runoff.
Weathering.
Weathering.
That is a lot to remember, but you're going to do a fantastic job with it today. Maybe you've wanted to take a trip around the world. How many of you are big adventurers and you like lots of fun and exciting things? I love traveling. One of my favorite hobbies that I enjoy is kayaking. I love kayaking. I love finding new places to go take my kayak. I like going to the rivers, but you have to be careful while doing all of those. You may find some creatures along the way that you have to be careful of. But in our lesson today, we're going to pretend as if we're kayaking. And we're going to be traveling through several types of bodies of water. And we're going to be visiting some very interesting places. So we'll stop along the way. We'll pull our kayak off to the side as we learn about some structures or landforms on our Earth as well. Open up your science books to page number 92 as we begin kayaking away. Row 5 is preparing to read as we look at the terms to remember at the top. I'll say the term, you repeat them after me. Landform. Landform. That's a natural formation of rock or soil on the Earth's surface. Next one, water runoff. Water runoff. Precipitation on land that eventually trickles into streams. Weathering. Weathering. The forming of soil from rocks. Let's take a look at landforms. Maybe you live near a very, very interesting landform. Students watching, maybe you have something close to you that lots of people enjoy coming to visit and to take pictures and to go on hikes. Let's read about these beautiful things that God has created. Alana, get us started, please.
Landforms. Our beautiful Earth is covered with unique natural features called landforms. A landform is a natural formation of rock or soil on the Earth's surface. A landform can be a high place, such as a mountain, hill, or plateau. Or a low place, such as a valley, canyon, lake, or riverbed. A landform can even be a flat place, like plains. An island is a landform that rises out of the ocean.
Thank you. You may return back to your seat. A landform is any natural formation that is made on the Earth's surface. There are a multitude of different types of landforms. Maybe you enjoy going hiking. Mountains are a wonderful place to do so. Those are very high places, but they can even be in the low places like the valley at the bottom of a mountain. We also saw that canyons and lakes and riverbeds are also different types of landforms. We'll be looking later in our lesson at how those landforms are made. One of the most well-known places to visit in the United States is the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon is a massive canyon formed from low places in the Earth's surface, a very beautiful place. You may also not think of this to be a landform, but a plain is also a landform. A plain is flat land with few trees. So while there's not a lot of extra on it, even that flat land is a type of landform that God has beautifully designed as something special that we can enjoy on our earth. We're going to be taking a closer look at rivers and how those rivers are formed and what happens when precipitation falls. Adrian, would you continue reading about that for us?
Let's explore some different landforms as we follow the path of a river. The beginning of a river is called its source. A river's source is usually high in the mountains where precipitation falls. Often mountaintops are covered with snow because of the cold temperatures there. The snow melts and the water trickles down into little streams. We call this water runoff. The streams eventually flow into a river.
Thank you. You may have a seat. So let's park our kayak for a second. So stop paddling and put it off to the side. And let's take a look at how a river is formed. So many times the beginning of a river is at the top of a higher surface. So somewhere like a mountain. As that precipitation falls at the top of the mountain, it's going to be able to trickle down as gravity allows that water to flow. What do we call the water or the precipitation that trickles down a mountain? That's called water runoff. Hopefully a way that could help you remember that is the water is as it's running off the side of the mountain, it's moving downward, okay? Remember, if you were to run down a hill, you would be going really fast, right? Water may not fall down a mountain very quickly, but that will help you to remember water runoff is the precipitation that trickles down the side of a mountain or any type of land where it forms into a stream. Then we saw source. Something that is a source is the beginning of something. The source of our strength as a Christian comes from the Lord. He is the one that gives us that. He is the originator of it. So the beginning of a river is its source as well. We'll see in our next paragraph or two how the ending of a river is called the mouth. I like to remember that because whenever I'm eating, where do I want my food to go to? What is the place I'm trying to get it to? I want it to get into my mouth so I can taste all of those delicious flavors that come with it. Maybe you enjoy sweet treats like donuts or cookies and you're thinking about eating maybe lunch or dinner coming up. Whenever you're looking to eat, you're wanting to get it to your mouth. That's the ending place that you're looking for. So hopefully that'll help you to remember that the end of a river is also ending in the mouth as well. So let's read about the source and let's read about the mouth to see a little bit more about those rivers.
The river flows very quickly as it travels downhill. Often the force of the river is so strong that it creates powerful waterfalls and rapids that can erode rocks and soil.
Thank you, Jake. You may have a seat. So because of gravity causing that water runoff to trickle off the side of a mountain and form a stream, as that water is rushing off the side of the mountain, what's happening? It's eroding or wearing away at the soil. Remember from our last lesson, soil erosion is the loss of topsoil by water or wind. So water, as it's trickling off the side of a landform, will cause erosion to take place. You're looking now at the top of page 93. Let's learn a little bit more about rivers. Jalen, continue reading.
As the river reaches the plain, as the river reaches the flat plains, it slows down and begins to wind its way toward the ocean. A river can empty into lakes or ponds as it continues to flow. The part of the river where it flows into the ocean is called its mouth. As the river flows over land, it picks up fine sand, called silt, and other tiny pieces of rich soil. Sometimes this fertile soil can gather at the river's mouth and make a new landform called a delta. A delta is a very good place for growing plants because its soil is very rich. The Nile River Delta helped make Egypt a wealthy and prosperous nation during biblical times.
Thank you, Jalen. So the source is the beginning of a river. That's where it originates. And then it ends at the mouth. Just as I was saying, you're trying to get that delicious treat to your mouth. That's where you want it to go. That's where the river is heading to also. Another interesting term that we see there is called silt. Say silt. Silt is fine sand that gathers together sometimes at the mouth of a river, at the ending of a river. It can form a new type of landform. It's called a delta. Say delta. Look at your page there where you see the Nile River Delta. Do you see the green portion that looks similar to a triangle? Okay, what's happened there? Well, over time, that fine sand or silt has gathered together. And silt is very rich in nutrients for the soil. As it gathers together, it makes that land very fertile. Do you remember what fertile means from our previous lessons, Mikkel? If soil is fertile, what does that mean?
That it can make nutrients for other plants.
Right, the plants can grow very well there and become very healthy. So in biblical times, the Nile River Delta, where all of that silt would have collected at the mouth of the Nile River, made Egypt a very wealthy land because there were lots of plants that they could grow there and things that could be accomplished because of the nutrients that was in the soil. Let's look at what the Bible says together. You're reading the Bible says and reading the verse with me. Ready? Begin. The Bible says, He sendeth the springs into the valleys which run among the hills. Psalm 104:10. The Bible tells us of the many ways that God provides the earth with fresh water. And I'm so thankful that He had a special design of a water cycle and creating landforms that allow us to enjoy this precious natural resource. You're looking now at page 94. While you're flipping, listen carefully for a few questions. What is a type of landform that we have talked about today? Alana, give me one of them.
A delta.
A delta, good. What's another one?
A plateau.
Good. Adrian, something else? Royan, can you help him out?
Mountain.
A mountain, a river, nicely done. Brennan? A plateau. Students watching, are you thinking of a different one? Canyon was another one that I was thinking of as well. Nicely done there for you. Let's take a look now at the top of page 94. You're looking at the something to remember. As I read it aloud, you're reading it silently. River facts. Number 1, a river's source is where it begins. Number 2, a river's mouth is where it ends. And number 3, a delta is a landform at the mouth of a river made from deposited soil or sand. There is another way that soil can be formed by a process called weathering. As water expands and begins to break or split rocks apart, weathering takes place. Let's read about that. I need Charlotte and Kendrick preparing to read as we learn more about weathering.
Weathering. New soil can also be formed by weathering. Rocks can break down and crumble into little pieces. Sometimes this happens from the force of water or wind. Often, weathering happens when water fills the cracks in rocks. If the water freezes, it expands enough to put pressure on the rock. This can cause the rock to split apart or crumble into smaller pieces.
Thank you, Charlotte. You may return back to your seat. So maybe you have to make ice at home by placing water into ice trays. Over time, as that water begins to freeze, it begins to expand. So while you may have placed only half full of the ice tray, as it grows bigger and bigger and freezes, it's called expanding. Weathering works in the same way. As water fills the cracks of the rocks, it begins to freeze and it begins to split them apart. Those rocks will begin to crumble and form a new soil. That can be a part of the topsoil. We're going to do an experiment to see just how weathering works. Kendrick, would you come at this time and read what we need and what we need to do?
What you need: paper or plastic cup, water, pen, freezer. What to do: fill the cup part way with water. Mark the fill line with a pen. Place the cup in the freezer. After 1 day, observe the water in the cup.
Good. Okay, so let's take a look here. We're going to take this cup and we'll check back in next lesson or maybe even in the next lesson after that to see what happens. We're going to fill our cup to this blue line. And we're going to see if, as it's placed in the freezer, if the water will expand, showing us how weathering works. It may crack the cup. It may grow to be above the cup. We'll just have to experiment and see. So let's get it filled and ready to go. And we'll check back in after it freezes to see what takes place. You have a pencil out as we look at our comprehension check. Students watching, you'll be completing this comprehension check on the bottom of page 94 with your on-site teacher.